Hi, 1OC. So for today's read aloud, we are going to be reading a Chinese storytelling book. So if you remember back to when you were in Miss O'Connell's classroom, the last few books that you had read with her were about Chinese storytelling and fairy tales. So this book is kind of similar to one of the books you had read before. This one is the Chinese version of Little Red Riding Hood. So going along with that theme, I'm going to read you the book called The Seven Chinese Sisters. And it's written by Kathy Tucker and illustrated by Grace Lin. So this book is about 7 Chinese sisters who lived and took care of each other. Each one has a special talent, something they're really good at. So we'll see what happens and if they get to use those special talents to help them with anything. Once upon a time, there were 7 Chinese sisters who lived together and took care of each other. Each sister had shining black hair and sparkling eyes. Each stood straight and tall, except for the 7th sister, who was just a baby. But the sisters were very different. The first sister could ride a scooter as fast as wind. The second sister knew karate. Kick, chop, hi-ya! The third sister could count to 500 and beyond. Fourth sister could talk to dogs. That's something I wish I could do. Fifth sister could catch any ball, no matter how fast and high it was thrown. Sixth sister could cook the most delicious noodle soup in the world. And seventh sister? No one was really sure yet what she could do. She was so little, she had never spoken even a word. You might want to think about maybe one of these sisters' talents that you have something in common with them. I know, I've done karate before. I think I'm like the second sister. Which sister are you like? Take a look at all the sisters. Here we go. Far away, across the bridge, through the forest, and up a mountain, lived a terrible dragon. One day, he woke up very hungry. He took a big sniff, and smelled something wonderful. It was Sixth Sister's noodle soup. Down the mountain, over the forest, and across the bridge flew the dragon, straight to the 7 sisters' homes. The sisters were so busy they didn't see him coming. First sister was polishing her scooter. Second sister was practicing for her black belt. Third sister was counting grains of rice. Fourth sister was talking to a stray beagle. Fifth sister was throwing a ball up a mile or so and catching it. Sixth sister had just stepped into the pantry to get some more noodles. And seventh sister was crawling around on the kitchen floor. When the dragon peeked in the kitchen door and saw little plump 7th sister, he forgot all about the soup. Instead, he snatched up the baby, picked her right up out the window. Help! Then he flew back over the bridge and forest, up the mountain, and into his cave. But as soon as the dragon set 7th sister down, he was just going to get some salt. She said her first word ever, and it was an excellent word. It was help! The 6 sisters had just started to look for the 7th sister when they heard her call. Right away, they knew her voice. 7th sister's in trouble, cried first sister, leaping on her scooter. We must save her. The other sisters hung on behind, pulled by their first sister, who was strong as well as fast. The sisters sped across the bridge. Beyond was the deep forest, filled with many trees. So many, third sister counted them by twos. Now, seventh sister's cries were louder. The sisters headed up the mountain and as soon reached the dragon's cave. Help! 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 They could smell smoke and hear the most awful roars. Fourth sister listened carefully. Dragons could not talk exactly like dogs, but still she could understand a little. The dragon was roaring. There's no use calling for help. You're going to be my supper. And suddenly, seventh sister shouted her second word ever, which was no. Bow wow, ruff. That's one of the sisters trying to communicate in dog language. If you don't bring her out, sir, you will regret it, called fourth sister in her best dog language she could manage. No. The dragon stopped roaring. What was the girl yelling? All he could understand was, bring her out, sir. But no one had ever tried to talk to him before. And he was so curious, he picked up seventh sister and rushed outside. Second sister stepped forward. Then, fast as lightning, she leaped into the air, slapped the dragon on his chin, and shouted, Hi-ya! The dragon was so surprised that, whoop, seventh sister flew out of his mouth. Back, 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 ran fifth sister. Back, 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 reaching up, up, up. She caught seventh sister neatly like a flying ball. When the dragon saw that his dinner was gone, he fell into the ground sobbing. Hungry, hungry, he whimpered. And fourth sister understood him perfectly because the word hungry is exactly the same for dragons as it is for dogs. He's starving, she explained. Now all the sisters could see he was quite skinny and sort of sad. He does look very skinny on the ground. Tomorrow, sixth sister can bring him some soup, first sister said. But we've got to go get seventh sister home. She's all worn out and she needs her diaper changed. Sisters, go home, cried baby's seventh sister, who was learning to talk very quickly now. First sister put seventh sister on her back and hopped on her scooter. The other sisters hung on behind and they whizzed fast as the wind downed the mountain. But when they reached the forest, first sister stopped. Now that they didn't have seventh sister's cries to guide them, how could they find their way home through all these trees? Does anyone have any ideas? How do you think they'll find their way home? Maybe this page will tell us. Don't worry, said third sister. I counted the trees when we came. We must go past 500. And so, when third sister had counted 500 trees by twos, the seven sisters came to the bridge. They scooted across and back to their house, where they had a wonderful meal of six sisters' delicious noodle soup. And what did the seventh sister do when she grew tall? She became the best storyteller in the world, and she always told this story first. You can see right there, she's also holding what it looks like the same storybook I'm reading now. Right. and that was the story of the 7 Chinese sisters. So after this read aloud, I want you to think about something that's your special talent or something you're really good at. And also, maybe you have an idea or any predictions as to what happened after. Do you think they went to go see the dragon? So, what you can do is that if you'd like, you can write me a letter or an email. Maybe you can write down in a journal about your special talent or something that you think would have happened after the story. Any predictions? I'm looking forward to the next story we're going to read together, but I'm so excited to hear about your ideas from this story. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.